The arena, the forest between eras. The sky over the battle forest is moon-washed and cold, an open clearing ringed by ancient trunks thick as pillars. Fog crawls low across the dirt like something alive. No city noise, no sirens, just the sound of wind through leaves. And two killers arriving from different centuries. A seam of black smoke rips open between the trees. Akamiyoki steps out like a nightmare wearing armor. Crimson lightning snaps and dies across wet roots. Opposite him, a clean pulse of teal light flickers. An5umuii100 locks into the clearing with a soft mechanical whine. Yellow eyes immediately begin scanning. Temperature, humidity, wind direction, heartless threat assessment. The forest doesn't care who's right, it only cares who leaves. Round 1. Hard openers. Akamiyoki moves first. Teleport. No footwork. No warning. He reappears inside her space, Zonette already carving a perfect killing line. An5umuii100 pivots and takes it on the shoulder plate. Metal screams and sparks spit into the mist. The impact drives her sideways into a tree trunk hard enough to shake loose bark and dead leaves. Before he can follow up, her belt snaps open. A compact baton cannon fires point blank. The shot hits like a battering ram. Akamiyoki skids back through the dirt, furrows cutting behind his boots. The clearing trembles. Branches shudder. A few birds explode out of the canopy like panicked shadows. Akamiyoki straightens slowly, cloak twitching in the wind, and the sword's edge hums, as if it recognizes a new kind of soul. Round 2. The forest starts dying. An5umuii100 goes clinical. Her eyes flare, scan acquired, and she starts fighting like a machine that studied every war ever recorded. She closes the distance with tight, brutal strikes, elbow to chest plate, knee to thigh joint, a palm strike that detonates a microcharge on contact. Akamiyoki blocks with the katana, and the unbreakable blade catches the charge like it's nothing. But the explosion still throws them apart. A tree behind him takes the shockwave and splinters down the middle, falling in slow motion like a dying giant. Akamiyoki teleports again, this time leaving behind a trail of black smoke and crimson lightning that snaps across the ground like an electrified whip. The lightning touches a tree root, and the root bursts, dirt and bark blasting outward. The clearing becomes a minefield of broken wood, shrapnel bark, and crackling energy. Round 3. Catastrophic momentum. An5umuii100 changes tactics. She stops chasing. She sets the board. Her belts release small discs, adhesive mines, that slap onto trunks, roots, and fallen logs. The forest turns into a trap map only she can read. Akamiyoki appears behind her again, silent, perfect, confident. He swings for the neck. An5umuii100 drops her weight and snaps up a kinetic shield, a hex-pattern shimmer that catches the blade for a half second. That half second becomes violence. She grabs his wrist, twists, and drives him forward into a tree so hard the trunk bows. She follows with a hammer fist to the side of his helmet, then a second hit that dents armor and sends him stumbling. He teleports out, but the moment he reappears, her minds wake up. The forest erupts in a chain sequence of tight blasts. Thump, 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 ripping bark into the air, shredding branches, punching craters into the clearing floor. Akamiyoki gets swallowed in smoke and splinters. For a beat, it looks like she solved him. Then the smoke splits. Akamiyoki steps out scorched and furious. Cloak in ribbons, armor blackened. Yet his posture is untouched. His crimson eyes burn brighter, and Zonette now crackles with a deeper, hungrier voltage. He points the blade at her like a judge. The forest goes quiet again. Round 4. The Demon's Lesson. Akamiyoki stops teleporting randomly. Now it's patterned. He blinks from tree to tree like a curse moving through branches. Each teleport leaves black smoke that clings to the air instead of dispersing, turning the clearing into a choking maze of darkness. An5umuii100's eyes flicker, scanning, recalculating, scanning. Akamiyoki appears at her left and strikes. She blocks. He appears at her right and strikes. She blocks again, but the impact drives her a step. He appears above, dropping like a guillotine. She raises her shield, crack, the kinetic barrier fractures, and her boots dig grooves into the dirt from the force. And then the trick reveals itself. The black smoke he left behind becomes a cage. It thickens, compresses, and suddenly her sensors begin to lie. Distance feels wrong. Angles distort. The forest becomes a haunted algorithm. Her head turns a fraction too late. Akamiyoki is already inside the pocket. He slams the hilt of Zonedakuro into her chest with a hit that sounds like a car door being kicked in. She flies backward through a fallen log, snapping it in half, then hits the ground hard enough to crater the soil. She rises fast because she doesn't know how not to. But her chest plating is cracked now. Systems stutter. The yellow in her eyes pulses unevenly. Akamiyoki walks forward, slow and certain. Final round, the deadly finish. An5umuii100 makes her last call. A compartment opens across her torso, an emergency core vent. Bright light swells under her armor like a contained star. She aims her palm forward, charging a single devastating discharge meant to erase everything in front of her. Akamiyoki doesn't run. He teleports once straight through the line of fire. The blast detonates behind him instead, turning a whole section of the clearing into a blown-out pit, trees uprooted and tossed like broken spears. The shockwave rolls into the forest and knocks loose a rain of leaves. An5umuii100's eyes widen for the first time, because he's already there. Akamiyoki drives Zonedakuro forward, clean, precise, merciless, into the cracked center of her chest plating. The sword doesn't just pierce metal, it takes something. An5umuii100 freezes. Her hands twitch, trying to reboot. Her scanning eyes flare bright gold, then flicker as if they're looking for a future that isn't available anymore. Akamiyoki twists the blade slightly. Crimson lightning crawls across her armor like veins, and black smoke pours from the wound. Not blood, not oil, something colder, the visual shape of her stolen spark.
An5umuii100 tries to stand taller anyway. Akamiyoki leans in, voice like a grave. Even machines can be harvested.
He yanks the sword free. An5umuii100 drops to one knee, then the other, then goes still, slumped in the cratered dirt as her lights fade down to nothing. The forest holds its breath. Akamiyoki turns, cloak fluttering, and Zonedakuro hums with a fresh, captive presence. Another soul signal trapped inside an unbreakable edge. He steps into the darkness between the trees. The fog closes behind him, and the clearing, splintered, cratered, ruined, stays silent, like it just witnessed a legend die.